exploring geometric patterns, rigid and isometric transformation. Today, we will be discussing the rigid transformation and its types. But before that, we must present the flowchart that outlines the process. It is followed by presenting our objectives and theme. Mainly, we will be learning the different types of rigid transformation, the key properties, and its characteristics.
An isometric transformation, also known as a rigid transformation, is a type of geometric transformation that preserves both the distance between points and the angles between lines. This means that the shape and size of any geometric figure remain the same after the transformation, even though its position or orientation might change.
The characteristics of isometric transformation. First, preserves distance between points. Second, preserves angles between lines and planes. Third, does not change the shape or size of the figure. Last, includes translation, rotation, and reflections.
From the word rigid, refers to objects or materials that do not deform easily when subjected to forces. Rigid transformation are geometric operations that preserve the size, shape of a figure, ensuring that corresponding distance and angles remain unchanged. These transformations include translation, rotation, and reflection.
Now, I will talk about the rotation in rigid transformation. A rotation is an rigid transformation in which the location of the pre-image is rotated around the fixed point, but its size and shape are not changed. Rotations are sometimes called turns. And now, I will give you the example of a rotation in rigid transformation. Based on the photo that has been seen on the screen is an example of a rotation in rigid transformation. And I will explain to you how you will know that photo is a rotation in rigid transformation. First, a rotation preserves distance and angles, keeping the size and shapes of the figure unchanged. Number 2, it involves rotating every point around a fixed point in 2D or in fixed axis in 3D. The rotation is by a consistent angle which affects every point equally. The orientation of the figure changes, but its overall forms remains the same. Next, there is no translation, shifting of the figure along the straight lines. There is no reflection or flipping the shapes, the figure's orientations, and changes without creating the mirror image.
Translation refers to moving a shape without rotating or flipping it. This means that the shape remains identical in every aspect, such as angles and lengths, throughout the movement. For example, consider a flock of birds flying across the sky. As they move from one point to another, they do so as a group, maintaining their formation. Each bird retains its shape and size. They simply shift their position in space. Similarly, airplanes in flight travel along a predetermined path, alerting their location without changing the form or flipping upside down.
Parts of the fundamentals rigid transformation is reflection. Reflection is the transformation that flip an object over the line, but the size and the shape of this has not changes at all. Sometimes the reflection called flips. As you can see at the example number 1, the tree has the same size and shape at the flip reflection in the example. And also at the example number 2, they have also the same size and shape that no changes at all at the flip picture. As in the example number 3, the reflection of the cat on the mirror has no changes at all, which is have the same size and same shape as it reflect in the mirror.
These are the key properties of rigid transformation. It preserves the distances, angles, and shape and size. It preserves the distances. It means that the distances between any 2 points on the object are unchanged. It preserves the angles, which means that the angles of any 2 lines or planes are also unchanged, just like the distance. It preserves the shape and size, which means that the object's shape and size are maintained. Overall, the types of rigid transformation are unchangeable and are maintained by its distances, angles, and its shape and size. How do we know if it's an isometry? Let's see. Example. If when 2 objects or images are compared, there is an isometry if you can rotate, flip, or slide one of them, and after that, place it on top of the other to see that they are exactly the same image. And if we go back to what isometry is, isometry preserves the distance and angles between points in a geometric patterns. This means that the shape and size of the figure remains unchanged, and only its position or orientation may be altered.
The key takeaways of an isometric transformation. An isometric transformation is any type of transformation that preserves length and the overall shape of an object. The 3 main forms of isometric transformations are translations, rotations, and reflections. There are 2 types of isometric transformation. First is direct isometry and opposite isometry.
Direct isometries are translations and rotations, and they retain the order of the corners. Opposite isometry is reflection, as this reverses the order of the vertices.